Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are actually doing a movie review from a movie that we both actually saw in theaters. So we're actually going to be reviewing Tenet. So it's been a long time coming before we've actually been able to actually see a film in theaters. So that's kind of unique in itself. I don't know. It's like I think we discussed. It's been like 6 months since we've been able to see anything actually in the theater. So it is kind of. It was a different experience for me. Before we get into the movie, for me it was definitely a different experience. I felt a little bit of that. The last movie that I saw was The Hunt, which was like right when COVID basically hit, and they were already doing like seat separation and stuff like that, and everybody was already kind of spread out, so it kind of felt a little bit more like that, like that was in some capacity where my theater wasn't super full, but that was just kind of my overall experience with the theater itself. What was your experience with the theater?
It was pretty good. It had been a little longer for me. I actually counted. It had been 210 days since I had been in a movie theater, which is just insane since, in regular times I'd be at the theater, two or three times a week usually,
Yeah.
But 210 days. The last movie I saw there was at the theater was The Invisible Man, which was early March. It was like kind of right before things went crazy. It was like The Hunt is when things really were going crazy. But I felt fine. I went with my nephew. It was a Tuesday night or a Monday night, so it wasn't too crowded. Probably wouldn't have been too crowded anyway. But yeah, I mean, the tickets are touchless, and the concession line is spaced out, and everybody's wearing masks and gloves. It's really no different than going to getting takeout or going to the grocery store, really. And the seats are spaced. There's hand sanitizing stations. I didn't feel in jeopardy or anything like that. The only thing I like is that somebody, because they space out, they space it 2 seats on your left, 2 seats on your right, and 2 seats behind and in front. But somebody, I didn't notice until about halfway through the movie that somebody had moved into the seat behind me. That clearly wasn't their seat. But still, the rows are so huge that he was still 6 feet away. I'm sure of it. So, you gotta. Unfortunately, there are always going to be people that don't follow the rules. Yeah. But except for that, I felt completely fine.
Yeah. That would probably feel a little weird. There were some people that were behind us, but they were kind of more catted corner. But I would still feel probably a little uncomfortable having somebody like basically breathing behind me, maybe. You know what I mean? But
I guess I didn't notice until halfway through the movie.
Yeah, because there's not really a way to be around that, because you're not wearing right. You're not really wearing a mask the entire time that you're sitting in the theater, especially if you're eating popcorn or having a drink or whatever the case may be. So I didn't really wear it for the entire time. There was a guy that was sitting. I think he was like 2 seats from us, and like before the movie started, he was like really coughing a lot. So and it's like nowadays, like anytime somebody coughs, I'm kind of a little skeptical about it. So I was already kind of like leaning to the side, like, so yeah. But by the time the movie started, I didn't really notice him coughing. But it's just like kind of that situation now where it's like, anytime somebody's coughing, now I get concerned that like, what if it is, you know what I mean? And it's gonna get worse now. I mean, now that we're getting into like, cold season and flu season and stuff like that in the next couple months. Yeah, now anytime anybody coughs, you don't know what they have or what's going on. Maybe I don't want to get the flu either, but
no.
But you don't really know, what their situation is, so it's going to be kind of a concern regardless. So
yeah, I don't. Nobody was coughing or anything, but during the movie, I thought I myself was about to sneeze. Just because I had something in my nose, but I was like, "Oh man, I don't want to sneeze because everybody's gonna like,
you're gonna get the side eye." yeah, everybody's gonna be looking at you like,
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, cool. Yeah. Well, with that said, man, let's get into it. Let's talk about Tenet. I have you go ahead and take this one on if you don't mind.
Sure. I'm gonna be pretty vague, which I think is the best way to go into. I mean, I really don't really have a choice because I didn't really understand it that much, but
we'll get into that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not bad, but movies are always super secretive. So if you don't know it already based on the trailer, you're probably not supposed to know it anyway. And the trailer doesn't show much. So John David Washington, who is Denzel Washington's son, and was also in BlacKkKlansman, up and coming. He stars as kind of a spy, who I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a spy or like a CIA agent or something of that nature.
I'm on for the ride, really, with this movie. But he discovers that someone in the future. See, I don't really know what I'm supposed to say, but it involves time travel, sort of like objects being able to move forward and reverse at the same time, and it's a Christopher Nolan movie, So it's a post, I guess, the Prestige Christopher Nolan movie, which
big budget.
Huge budget, loud music, lots of running and chasing, and lots of tension. And so if you are a fan of Interstellar, if you're a fan of Inception, what's the other one? The Batman trilogy, his Batman trilogy. If you like him, you're probably going to like this one too. I liked it a lot. I'm a pretty big Christopher Nolan fan. The only movie of his that I'm not really a huge fan of would be Insomnia, but that was before this kind of Christopher Nolan movie even started. I've liked all of his movies. This one I would not put in the upper tier, but I think that's mostly because I just didn't understand it, which I think is the point, really. I don't think you're really supposed to understand it. It's complicated. I enjoyed it. It looked really cool. It sounded really cool. The music was great. The action was great. I didn't understand what was happening, but I fully expect to. I already kind of want to see it again so that I can actually piece it together a little bit more. And a lot of his movies, I find I like them more the more that I watch them. Like Interstellar, I had mixed feelings on, but when I watched it again, I really liked it. So I kind of think, right now I would put this at about the B level, but I think I definitely plan to see it again. I might even go back to the theater in a couple weeks to see it again because I just enjoyed being in the theater. But I expect, like most of his movies, to like it more every time I watch it, because every time you watch it, it's like a puzzle coming together, and you kind of, make sense of this part. Oh, and then the third time you watch it, I understand this part. So I like that kind of stuff. I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it on the first viewing, but like I said, I expect it to grow in my estimation. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed being in a theater again, and I enjoyed eating popcorn again. So non-microwave popcorn. So yeah, I had a good time. How about you?
Yeah, I don't know if I enjoyed it quite as much as you did, and I like Christopher Nolan.
That's what always happens. So
I mean, I like Christopher Nolan. I don't love everything that he does. I really liked Inception a lot. I didn't care for Interstellar too much. I wasn't a huge fan of The Prestige, so I haven't loved everything that he's done. And I don't know. That's kind of the problem that I have with him. He's kind of like I don't know. I kind of feel like he's like turning into like a Michael Bay type director, where it's like these big, broad spectacles. I mean, the storyline may be a little better than a Michael Bay film, but it's always just like bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just like, you don't have to do all that. And I don't know, in my opinion, if you don't get it the first time, why should I have to go back and see it 3 times just to understand it? Like, you know what I mean? It should, if it just doesn't make any sense the first time, you just got to go see it 2 more times, and then maybe you'll be able to piece it together. I should be able to piece it together the first time I watch it, I feel like, So I definitely had some issues with it. I don't know about in your theater, but in my theater in the very beginning, and I guess this was intentional, there was this loud noise at the very beginning. It was like super, super loud, and it was almost like piercing to the ear for like the first couple scenes in the theater that I was in. I've heard other people complain about the noise as well. It's been kind of a common thing that people have been saying about it. And I don't know, it sounds kind of like the old snow TVs, kind of like, where you're on like the blank channels and it's like just like dead air kind of. So it was a little piercing, and it was a little hard to understand even the dialogue, because the noise in the background was kind of loud in the beginning. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. And like, I don't know, the entire film, you just really don't know what's really going on for the most of the film. I mean, you don't, there's scenes where I have no clue what's happening. There's a battle scene where towards the end with like these two different groups, and I don't know what they were doing. I have no clue what either of those two groups were supposedly doing. All I'm doing is seeing like two groups of people that are going around shooting things, and things are like moving forward and backwards and this kind of stuff, but I had no clue what I was even watching. So yeah, it looks cool, but there's no understanding of what's even happening. You know what I mean? I'm just watching 15 minutes of just like, I don't know who they're shooting at. I don't know who's fighting back at them. I don't even know if they're really even killing anybody because everything's moving back and forth. I'm like, did that guy really die, or did he come back, or what's going on with this? And I don't know. To me, it doesn't have to completely, wrap up in a nice little knit bow. But if both of us came away with not really understanding what's going on, and your argument to that is, well, you just need to see it again and maybe you'll piece more together, I think that's kind of a problem to me. I think it should make some sort of better sense than that I shouldn't have to go see it 2 or 3 more times to try to piece it together. To figure out exactly what's going on. So I definitely had some problems with it. Like I said, it looks cool. It's flashy. It's a big budget thing. There's, lots of explosions and car crashes and cars flipping over and shooting and all that kind of stuff. And that's all fine and good. But, try to explain this film to a friend or describe what it's about. And most people, I think, are going to struggle with that. And I don't know. I just felt like it was more style over substance. And it's a lot of things that I think even if I watched it 3-4 times, there's still going to be elements that I don't quite fully understand or quite fully get. And I'm sure that was intentional, but that it doesn't, fully make sense. But I don't know. I just had some issues and some problems with it. So overall, for me, it's going to be more in the Interstellar camp for me, where I didn't really understand it. I didn't quite get it. And, overall, I just can't say that I loved it. So I just thought it was okay. Personally, I thought it looks good. It's flashy, and if that's enough for you, then, for not you specifically, Jason, but just anybody that likes big, explosions and flashiness and things of that nature. You know what I mean? If that's enough to get you to go and want to go see something like that, then by all means. But for me, I don't know. I feel like I should be able to have some understanding of what exactly what's going on. And I'm not saying I was completely clueless, but I think I got the general sense. But there was just so much of the story that. Yeah, there was just so much of the story that, you know what I mean, that didn't really make sense, and so many different parts that weren't fully explained or, clear exactly what was going on. And so I was just really confused in a lot of parts, and, and you're just like, yeah, it looks good, but, that's, like I said, style over substance, I felt like in this film, just in my personal opinion. So.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. I think comparing Christopher Nolan and Michael Bay is a little. I mean, I see what you're saying because they both make movies that are big and loud, but I think, I think these movies are a little bit. There's a little more going on under the surface too, and I guess it's not for everybody, but personally, I like the feeling of wanting to go back to something and seeing how it plays again, because your
average moviegoer is not watching a movie. Your average moviegoer is not like you. You know what I mean? They're not going to see a movie 3 times at the theater. They're going to see it once and then they're moving on to something else. So if you're in that camp, you're the average moviegoer. You're not a cinephile where you love going to the movies and you're going to go see a movie 2-3 times. Usually people do that for movies that they love. Like, okay, for example, The Dark Knight. That's a movie that people will go back and revisit because it's not weird. It's just cool. It's flashy. It has all those same elements as this one has. But that one, I think everybody could understand. A movie that people don't understand, I don't think most people are thinking in their heads, like, I didn't get it, but I'm going to go back and see it 2 or 3 more times to piece it back together. I don't think most people are doing that. So
I don't know. I'm glad people make movies that are for people that don't just like the something simple. You know what I mean? Like, I think like a movie like, I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean, if that doesn't make sense the first time you watch it, there's something wrong. But a movie like this, clearly, for the people that are into that kind of thing, it wants to invite people to return and put a little effort into it. You know what I mean? So I like that kind of stuff. I'm that way with music. I'm that way with movies. I think I like that kind of art that doesn't reveal itself all the way the first time, and it requires some work. I don't mind that. And this is a situation where it made me want to, it made me say, okay, I'm up for the challenge. I'd like to go back and see what this is like again.
Yeah, I mean, I like movies that make you think. You know what I mean? I like movies that'll make you think and make you ponder on it. But I didn't feel like this was that type of a movie that makes you think and makes you ponder. It didn't have that same kind of like, where I'm really like thinking about it after it was over. After it was over, I think you were left with more questions and answers. You know what I mean? So this isn't that type of. This isn't like some intellectual film that you really need to, watch and then piece it, because it's all mumbo jumbo, you know what I mean? I feel like it's like stuff that like you're going to watch it again and you're going to try to piece together what they're talking about and hopefully gain some more understanding. But, he wrote the script. So, I mean, he's probably going to be the only person that really knows exactly, because he purposely made it confusing. You know what I mean? I think there's a part, and so I don't know if you'll ever come to a complete understanding. You might have your own thought process, but the movie's not that deep to where, you leave the theater and you're really like, wow, I really need to ponder on this for a minute. It's just a big budget action film that is confusing. That's pretty much what it is. You know what I mean? So, it's not like it's some deep intellectual type film. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is one of those films that really makes you think. You really got to watch it a couple times and really, it's just not that. It's not that deep. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion,
I can tell you, my 16-year-old nephew seemed to understand it perfectly. So, yeah. He explained a couple of things to me, but this was his second time. He had seen it once before, so he told me what made sense more this time, and I don't think he still gets it completely, but he understands it more than I do. That's for sure. Which is funny because he's 16.
Yeah. Go figure. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's not one that I personally want to revisit it. But like I said, if someone, I don't think that, I think a lot of people like it because it's Christopher Nolan regardless. You know what I mean? And then I think some people may, have that same feelings that you have, that it's like, it looks cool, it's flashy. And I think that's enough for, I think, your average moviegoer to say, oh yeah, it looks cool, it's flashy. I don't understand really what was going on, but it was fun. And I think that's the general sense you'll probably get from this film for most people. Just for me, I just, there wasn't enough substance for me, and the characters weren't really even that interesting. I felt like, other than the lead character, I didn't really care about any other characters, and then, not to get too much into spoilers, but there's a girl that, that they try to protect. And I don't even know why. You know what I mean? Like, what was so special about her? She did nothing. She added nothing to the story, other than she had a kid. You know what I mean? And it was just like, okay, well, what's, I don't understand, why they're going through these lengths to protect somebody that, there's not a close relationship with. There's nothing that special about her. She doesn't add any real major value to the story, I felt like. So I don't really know why they went through all the efforts they made to, to protect her and to help her. I don't know. It felt kind of a weak, like I said, it was style over substance, in my opinion. So, but
I don't agree that it's style over substance. I agree that it's probably a little overly obscure. It's a little overly, like you said, he's not even trying to have it make sense on the first viewing. I don't think it's style over substance, though. I mean, I think it's a lot of both. Probably, maybe not quite as much substance as some of his other films, but I think it's a lot of both. But it is definitely maybe a little overly, I don't know, into itself, I guess, into being confusing. So
yeah, cool. All right, well, that's that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what was your overall grade and base you would give this one then?
Oh, I gave it 3.5 out of 5, which is a solid B. And like I said, like, it could go up or down. I have a feeling it'll probably go up next time I watch it, but I don't really know. But for right now, I my first viewing wasn't up there with some of his other films, but I definitely enjoyed the experience. So I gave it a B, which is his face. Just a nice, ordinary smile, no teeth. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, unfortunately, I got to go a grade lower, not purposely, but yeah, I'm going with the 2.5 on this one. Like I said, there's some style a little bit in there, and like I said, it's a big production, and it looks cool. I just felt like the story was left something to be desired, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with the 2.5 out of 5, and I'm going to give it this face, which is just a straight face. So, but yeah, that's my take. So, but Jason will see it again and give it 5 stars. So
yeah, maybe
so, like he normally does. No, I'm just messing with you. Well, yeah. Well, that's our review of Tenet. Let us, if you've seen it, let us know your thoughts down in the comments section. If you enjoyed it, definitely let us know what you thought. Or if you didn't enjoy it, let us know what you thought. Or if we're both wrong, or I'm right, he's wrong, or vice versa, let us know. So, no. As always, if you like the channel, if you like like our reviews, we definitely ask that you like, subscribe, and then always make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our updates. And we'll be back again soon with a new review. And hopefully, we can start reviewing some films that are in theaters again. So that was cool. I don't see anything else on the horizon yet, but hopefully there's something that maybe comes out that's on par with this. I know there's some stuff supposedly coming out in October, November, but we'll see what happens with that. So.
Yeah.
But in any event, we'll be back again real soon. We thank you guys for watching, and we hope you have a great day. Bye.